Hi everyone, welcome to Ms. Abby's class. Today I'm going to teach you all a strategy to solve math word problems. Sometimes we rush through our word problems and end up with careless mistakes. So this strategy will help us slow down a little bit and understand what the problem is all about and help us solve even difficult word problems. Okay? So this strategy is called cubes. C here stands for circle the key numbers. So whenever you see numbers in the problem, just go ahead and circle them. So if the numbers are in word form, just write the number form on top of the words. This will avoid a lot of confusion. Underline the question. Whenever you see the question in the problem, reread the question and then underline the question. Understand what the question is asking you to do. Box the keywords. Word problems usually have a lot of keywords. For example, sum, total, all this would mean addition, right? In the same way, difference, less than, minus would mean subtraction. So times, multiple, twice, each, all this might mean multiplication. So there are a lot of keywords in a word problem that help you understand the problem. So it's very good to identify these keywords. So box the keywords wherever you see them. The next step is to evaluate and eliminate. Word problems sometimes have information that you don't really need to solve the problem. This information is usually provided to help you picturize or visualize the problem, but it's not necessarily useful for solving the problem. So go and eliminate that information from, strike out that kind of information from the problem. So what do you mean by evaluate? Evaluate is nothing but recognizing what you have to do. Understand what the problem is and understand the question and try to draw a model or a picture that will help you understand what you have to do to arrive at the answer. Do you have to subtract? Do you have to add, multiply, divide, or do a combination of these operations? So that is called evaluation. So do that in that step. And after you do all this, the final step is to solve the problem. So guys, after you do the first 4 steps, solving the problem is a piece of cake. You just write the number sentence, do the appropriate operation, you add or subtract, multiply, divide, and then arrive at the answer. Okay, I'm going to explain this with an example. Okay, let me read this question to you. Sam works in a science lab. She poured 80 milliliters of liquid into each of the 4 test tubes. How many milliliters of liquid did Sam pour into the test tubes altogether? What is the first step that we need to do here? Yes, we need to circle the numbers. 80 and 4 are the 2 numbers that I see here, so I'm going to circle them. The second step is to underline the question. What is the question? Let me reread the question. How many milliliters of liquid did Sam pour into the test tubes altogether? I'm going to go ahead and underline the question. The next step is to box the keywords. What are the keywords that I see? She poured 80 milliliters of liquid into each of the 4 test tubes. I sense that the word each here is very significant. It's very important because she's pouring 80 milliliters of liquid into each one of those test tubes, right? So each is a keyword. And what else do you see? How many milliliters of liquid did Sam pour into the test tubes altogether? Altogether here is also a keyword. That means that they're asking you to group everything together, right? So I'm going to go ahead and box these keywords. What is the next step? The next step is eliminate and evaluate. I'm going to eliminate the necessary, unnecessary information that I find here. Sam works in a science lab is good information for me to picturize Sam working in a science lab doing all the stuff, but it doesn't really help me solve the problem. So I'm going to just go ahead and strike it out. The next step is to evaluate. I'm going to think about what I'm going to do here to solve the problem. She's pouring 80 milliliters of liquid in each of the 4 test tubes. And the question is actually asking me to group all this together. How many milliliters of liquid did Sam pour into the test tubes all together? So see, these keywords are helping me here to understand the question, right? To evaluate. So I'm going to go ahead and draw 4 test tubes with 80 milliliters of liquid in each of the test tube. So this is my evaluation step. And the last step is easy, like I told you guys. The last step is solving the problem. Okay, go ahead and solve the problem because you already know that 4 times 80 is 320. So I write the number sentence here and I arrive at the answer. This is a wonderful strategy to follow when you're doing word problems, especially during difficult word problems. This will come in handy. So don't rush through a problem as soon as you see it, okay? Do the Q's method, analyze the problem so that you can avoid all these careless mistakes and arrive at the correct answer. I hope this was useful for you guys. See you next time, guys. Bye-bye.